right, guys. This is great. I like this. I think this is our height when you're standing up and I'm standing up.
What's this?
No. Stand up.
See, your head is the height of my shoulder.
Okay, well, fine. I'll just. What if you come to? What if we meet halfway? Too low. Too low. No, stop it. Stop. I have to jump in my chair.
Oh, this is too tall.
Yeah, it's too tall. Let's do one click. Pop, pop.
All right.
All right. Hey, guys. Well, I think today is going to be more like a life update.
Yeah, not in a bad way. We just don't have a video for you this week.
No. We've been, like, you guys know about the fire that happened a week ago, and we were lucky that our yard has stayed untouched, and everything here was fine.
We did have like a little bit of soot to clean up on our boat. Like some big chunks had made it into our cockpit locker.
Like the
weird
ashes,
enough. Yeah, it was kind of bizarre.
But the cool, I mean, not the cool thing, but the non-unfortunate. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to not be too negative or positive about something that was.
Just say what you're gonna say, and then we can translate it later. Just put subtitles on what you actually mean.
On the positive side of things, the ashes that did blow through with the wind. They weren't hot, so turns out none of the boats here were in my words today.
Caught on fire.
Yeah.
None of the boats are.
They weren't at risk.
Yeah.
So we just had quite a bit of cleaning up to do on the hull.
It was kind of wild. It burned for more than 24 hours. When we came back to the yard the next morning, it was still smoke coming out of the building.
Yeah.
And you could kind of still smell it for days after. So
yeah,
it's kind of crazy that happened so close.
Yeah. What caught me off guard is that when we did evacuate, we had to evacuate. I think most of you guys were right in the comments is because mostly of the smoke and the toxic fume, because it's fiberglass burning and it's resin and it's propane and it's all these nasty things.
Most of it was like going over, but every once in a while the wind would like push them down. You kind of go like, that's how we noticed it actually. We were in the container. We're like, something burning. We open the door and it's like right here in front of our container. And we're like,
like, should we be worried? Yeah, turns out
So it was a good thing to evacuate anyway. Some people at the yards, some of like the staff stayed behind, I guess, to make sure nothing caught fire. But everyone that wasn't like vital had to leave. So,
yeah. What was interesting though is that we watched the fire for quite some time, and it was a couple hours before they actually had water.
Yeah, and they were bringing water in by trucks. Like there's fire hydrants here.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't work. And I swear the trucks went to the ocean side and came back at some point. So
eventually, I think the trucks were going down and pulling in salt water.
Yeah.
But they came from the city, like water trucks came, which means there were no hydrants in that area, which was weird. Anyway, we're not trying to speculate too much because we don't know hardly anything about it.
All we know is that there were 40 boats that were lost inside that yard.
Yeah.
But everybody was safe and nobody got hurt. Everybody got out in time. So that's the good thing. But it did cause a little bit of delays in terms of our project because we had this perfect window to work on the hull. And because of the fire, we kind of lost a few days, and then the weather shifted, so we had to wait again. And
then my mom came to visit for 5 days. And so it was like a whole week of like not really focusing on the boat like we normally do, which was fun. We still got some stuff done. We set her up like polishing stainless and cleaning our winches and stuff that needs to get done while we were busy doing other little projects around. But the hull painting whole project has kind of been put on hold.
Yeah.
Because we need like a solid chunk of time to put the coats of paint on back to back. And without that, we'd have to like put it on, then sand it, and put it on, sand it. It would be a lot more work. So we haven't lost our last window yet. We're just gonna wait for better weather. That's all.
But it was cool to have his mom come visit because last time she came visit, we were in Curacao. And obviously she jumped into the opportunity to come and have a little vacation with us. But the reason why we brought her over in Curacao was because it was cheaper for her to fly with a suitcase of all the equipment we needed, as opposed to ordering it separately or have a package mailed to us.
And faster too.
And so she was like, well, if it's cheaper for me to bring it, I will just come and bring my bathing suit too. And so, but this time was different. This time she was vacationing in Europe, and so she decided to come and visit us, and she was like, I just want to see what you guys do. I just want to be part of your world. They're like, it's a little bit different than Curacao, but we'll...
breakfast, lunch, and dinner out of the microwave, and we work 16 hours a day in this container or at the boat, and then we sleep at the beach and come back the next morning. So
yeah, she had fun though. She was
not really a vacation.
Anyway, all that to say that we don't have a video for you guys this week. We are working on it. We're working on editing it, but we figured in the meantime, this is a good time to talk about.
We've got another video coming up. We've got some more painting coming up that we still haven't quite finished, and we also have this is going to be a little spoiler. I hope that's not actually flipped. This is another little fun video we're working on that we probably should have done a year ago, because that's when the information that's coming out of this video would have been useful to us. But
that's true.
Also this, which you guys probably can't read, which is good.
I think the video that's coming that then just showed you the little sneak peek of that. We won't spoil the surprise because you'll just have to wait. But I think when we used what we used, we knew ourselves why we were using it. But I think because we've had so many questions in the comments of why we weren't using something different.
You're being very cryptic, I like it.
Then we're like, okay, in order to answer this question, let's go through all this experiment and kind of see if we can come up with...
collect some data.
And we've learned a lot, with the data. We've learned things that we didn't even think of, and we learned things that validated our choice of
How much more
material.
Cryptic can you be? Anyway, so we have like a couple of videos we've been working on that just aren't quite finished yet.
Yeah.
And then we're still not gonna have time to finish them because in 2 more days we're flying up to the Netherlands for a whole week because we've got a bunch of like meetings and companies we want to visit with and some other projects we're working on up there. But
while we are in the Netherlands, we always... So here's the thing with Uma. Is Uma in her soul, she really wants to be an expedition yacht.
Yeah.
And so as proud parents that we are, it would be wrong of us to deny her that dream.
We just want
to go places.
We just want to make her as prepared as possible for the future that she is so passionate about.
She needs to know what's ahead. Therefore, we need to, we can be a little protective. That's okay. So we need to make sure that she's ready. And
from our experience in Norway on like baby expedition, we know that she wasn't ready. Like she was okay, but like she complained a lot about the weather.
Yeah. I think she jumped into her subject a little too soon. She needs to take a step back and take the core classes first. She needs to reassess how she can be better.
Take a year off.
A gap year.
A gap year.
Yeah. Which
can
you imagine? So actually, this got me thinking of gap year. I thought about something this morning, and I realized that the last time that we've sailed, the last time that we've sailed on Uma actually was when we came to Olbia, and that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
that's kind of insane. But I guess I'm gonna say
that doesn't mean our boat. We sailed on a catamaran.
On Uma. But that doesn't mean that we've been working on the refit for 2 years. No. Because the first year was a bit of a wash. We had so many things going on.
I scrubbed through the calendar the other day because we've been logging like everything we do each day on our calendar just so we can kind of remember. And about a year ago, we started rebuilding the boat. Like the guys were kind of done with the fiberglass work, and a year before that we basically had sailed over here. But that year from when we sailed over here until we hauled out, we were like here for 14 weeks.
Yeah,
out of
I think
the
that's
year.
What you calculated.
Yeah, it was right around 14 weeks because we just did the demo on the boat and went around and tried to like organize an actual refit.
Between some passport issues, if you're on Patreon, you know the crazy story that happened back then, and also finding a place to live, which we bounced between apartments and finding the truck, and then other projects that we're working on that are kind of behind the scene. But there was a lot going on. So I would say in terms of like refit time, I think about a year of solid work is what we've been doing. Yeah.
Which is cool because the boat's almost ready for paint.
Yeah.
Like most of the major construction is done. We're like ordering deck hardware and like getting ready to like actually start installing, bits and pieces of metal and run electrical and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good time for us to start like finalizing all those details because so far we've just been like fiberglass and wood and paint for so long, our brains like, we're like, oh yeah, winches. Oh yeah, like, is it going to be here or is it going to be here? So we're finalizing all the details where we're going to be installing this hardware. And one of the best ways to do that, for us at least,
steal inspiration
from
from the best boats.
So we try to go to as many boat shows as we can, even if we don't like announce them, because we're usually there just to kind of like see and feel and look at boats and look at how things are designed and like look behind the cabinets, even though you're normally not supposed to open them. And we've been visiting a bunch of shipyards as well this past 2 years in Europe. But one of the best ways, at least for us, to see other boats that are built for similar conditions that we want to go and sail in is to go see expedition yachts. So while we're in the Netherlands this week, it happens to be KM Yachts Open Day. So they sort of open up the yard, they bring a bunch of boats in that they've built, and you can go walk around and see them for free. They have some vendors there too. It's kind of like a mini boat show, but every time we're in the Netherlands, we always swing by KM because they have some awesome boats and there's always something cool under construction.
Yeah.
And so this year we're going to be there at the same time as their open day, so we're going to go hang out there all day.
Yeah, and hint, if you guys look at our Dodger and you look at the Dutch expedition boats, you kind of maybe see some similarities there.
Just go check out Paul and Cheryl's new boat. And we kind of didn't realize it exactly because but we've seen a lot of boats and we don't look at a boat and say we want to build that. We look at a lot of boats and then we kind of figure out what works on UMA. But now that the Dodger's basically done, we kind of step back and we're like, oh shit.
It's like, they're similar.
It's basically that.
I think it's kind of this subconscious thing, right? It's like we design something with what we think in our minds is the best solution for our needs and for our boat. And then when we found that there is similarities to boats that we do like anyway, it's kind of a good little match there.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in the Netherlands next week, and while we're there, it's such a great coincidence that KM is also having their open boat. So we're gonna be there, and so we're extending that invitation to you guys. And if you want to come, just check out a bunch of awesome boats and also just hang out with us. We'll be around. Yeah.
But because it's a free event and because it's limited space, it would be awesome if you were gonna show up, if you could go and RSVP so that KM and us sort of have an idea of how many people are going to be showing up, because it could be 10 and it could be 1,000, who knows. And so we'll leave a link to their little RSVP form just so that no one's surprised.
Down below.
It'll be fun. We're going to be there trying to see as many cool details on as many cool boats as we possibly can. Just little things like looking at different masts and looking at different rigging and looking at different ways to do main sheets, because we have most of the idea, what we're going to be doing on Oma's Oma. Our plans for Uma are 95% done.
Yeah.
But it's just little details where you're like, oh, that's a smart way to run that block back, or oh, that's where they put the jib car or whatever.
Yeah, a little fine tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what we're going to be doing while we're there, and just looking at cool boats and a bunch of other things in the Netherlands. But we're also going to be visiting with the company who's building the windows for the Dodger, so we're going to get to see those and see all the details about those too. It's going to be a fun week, but it'd be cool to see you guys there. And what else?
Also, some of you guys asked, because we just brought back our Arctic T-shirt design from Norway,
and this black T-shirt.
The minimalist version of this T-shirt.
I think you put an umla.
I don't have that available. I order a lot of samples with ideas because it's better to see it in person. So I designed it on the websites, and then I order the samples and I bring it. I usually order a den size because it's a perfect medium. And so I can, because you're my model, right? And so you can turn around and I can look at it, because if it's on me, it's a little weirder to capture the feeling of it. Anyway, we brought back the sweater not too long ago, and you guys asked, because it's summertime now and not many of you would be wearing sweaters, if we could come up with the T-shirt version. So I'm gonna strip just a little bit.
It's a cool design. I
love it so much. So now those T-shirts are back and available on our website. So we'll also link it, I think, in the corner here.
We're gonna have to redo that when Uma's done, right? With different windows.
With the new Dodger and the No, but it will be.
Rig.
But this is commemorating where she's been for this, right? Which was Norway with the Northern Lights.
Well, you got
new
this
Uma
on the shoulder too.
Oh, this is kind of an experiment.
You got this on the back.
This is kind of an experiment. But new Uma
that was our
will
other
do
sort of logo idea, was the DK.
We actually, those bottles have been so special for us because we've been
an identity crisis, I think, going on.
We've been giving these bottles away to friends and patrons and people that have been helping us along the way, and everybody's been loving them so much. So we might make them available, but we just don't know what logos we want to use anymore, because we have Uma and then we have the DK, which is kind of like our personal signature thing. Like the little DK you see in the corner of the YouTube video, but I don't know. It's gonna be like here. That's what you press to subscribe. Which, by the way, if you haven't already, you should just click it.
One of the things that we're planning to do with this rebuild is give Uma a new identity. Not identity, but like, freshen up the name on the back and kind of all that kind of stuff. So we've been experimenting with a whole bunch of different designs on that.
Yeah.
What
so
else?
that is. I think that's it for update-wise.
I'm excited to go break some stuff. That's what we're doing today. I mean,
we're gonna break the things that Dan just showed you, or try to.
We have some ideas. So that's gonna be fun, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys in the Netherlands. It's this Saturday, May 10th. May 10th. Yeah. We'll be there all day because there's a lot of boats to see, and we could spend an unlimited amount of time on each boat looking at they let us open all the cabinets, let's just say. So we're excited about that.
So link down below, check it out, RSVP, sign up, and we'll see you guys there. And we'll see you in the next episode next week. Cheers!
Well, but there's one coming out not this Thursday.
No, this Thursday, there's no video. That's why we're doing this.
Right.
To tell them that there's no video so that they don't call the Coast Guard.
They don't call the Italian. It'd be fine. If they called the Italian Coast Guard, it'd be 2 weeks before they showed up anyway. It'd be fine.
And they won't find our boat because it's kind of hidden in the back. Yeah. And there's not even a name behind. We don't have a radio hooked up. It'll be a whole story. So yeah, that's why this video. There's coffee. There's caffeine in this, isn't
This is just chai tea.
Yeah,
I think it's a lack of sleep. We've been only getting 6 or 7 hours of sleep recently. We need to catch up on that.
There's so much that tangents into so many other conversations we could have about I was recently thinking of the cloning, the whole cloning science.
All right, guys.
And it would be awesome that I could clone myself, but I would only want to clone myself as a 35-year-old with my same, but I could control the brain of my clone.
Multi-bodies with one consciousness. That's what I want.
But then you can't be in two places at once. If you have only
Sense8 style, where you could warp into the one that went to the military. You could warp into the one that went to engineering school. You could warp into the one that went to art school, or you know what I mean?
So
be I need to fly an airplane. Just warp into the one that's a pilot, and you could go. You know what I mean? You could just spread out, and each one could learn its own thing. And you could collectively control them at any given time.
I hear you. So they would have automatic mode where they just do their thing, but then as the admin, you have the admin of the account. You can kind of go and see what they've been up to.
Yeah, Matrix style, but with multi-bodies instead of just plugging in. Yeah.
I think we should do a podcast episode sometime this week. Probably not. Maybe
time.
Next week. Next month. We'll do it. We'll do a new podcast episode soon on Patreon.
All right.
All right.
We're going to get back to work. We're going to break some stuff. Yes. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the Netherlands. Bye.